Hey, welcome to another class of Tuesday Night Beer School with me, Chad of Chad's Beer Reviews. Look, I'm wearing the exact outfit from the logo. All right, so tonight we're doing a very niche style, very close to some other styles, but it's actually hard to find these days, at least for me. So I'm talking about the Baltic Porter, a strong, dark, malty beer with different interpretations within the Baltic region. Smooth, warming, and richly malty with complex dark fruit flavors and a roasted flavor without burnt notes. I'm gonna kind of go through the history and characteristics really quick. Basically, our response to like the English porters in countries in the Baltic Sea, mostly Poland. Um, Characteristic ingredients: lager yeast, so it is technically a lager, not an ale. The bitter dark malt, Munich or Vienna base malt, not Pilsner, not 𝗕𝗏. Cannella hops may contain crystal malt or adjuncts. Brown or amber malt common in historical recipes. As a collection of regional beers, different formulations are expected. Style comparison combines the body, maltiness, richness, and smoothness of a 𝗕𝗏𝗏, the darker malt character of an English porter, and the roast flavors of a Schwarzbier, and alcohol and fruitiness of an old ale. Man, it's the combination of a lot of different styles here. Much less roasted and often lower in alcohol than Imperial Stout, and also that it's lagered and not technically an ale. 20 to 40 IBU, so, bitter, but not super bitter. 17 to 30 SRM, so dark, but not super dark. And the gravity, pretty hefty, 6.5 to 9.5 ABV. And the commercial examples, well, the Zywiec Porter I was able to get real easily for years, and all of a sudden it just disappeared out of all beer stores. So I got a comparable substitute. This is Komes Baltic Porter, product of Poland, 9% ABV. It's won some awards, as they have on the bottle right here. And they even show like how you can age it, and it'll go from fresh and roasted to dry and complex. There's a bottling code on here, but I cannot make heads or tails out of it. Oh, it says lot number. All right, so I'm going to get this in the glass, take the picture, and we will get started. All right, so I've got our beer poured, and let's give it a whiff here. Oh, wow, that is really black licorice, black currants. Yeah, it has like almost like a fudgy kind of aroma, but I would call it like, it's more of like a sweet kind of fruitiness. Like it's more like confectionery and fruity, not so much roasty. Like I wouldn't really call it coffee, but it has like that, just that deep, like almost like a tar kind of aroma to it. All right, let's see what the specs say. Aroma: rich maltiness, often containing caramel, toffee, nuts, deep toast, or licorice notes. I probably would say there's some toffee in there too. Complex alcohol and ester profile and moderate strength, reminiscent of plums, prunes, raisins, cherries, or currants. I said currants. Occasionally with a vinous port-like quality. Yeah, there is like a slight kind of winey thing to it. Deep malt accents of dark chocolate, coffee, or molasses, but never burnt. Yeah. Yeah, kind of dark chocolate or molasses. I really don't get coffee. Never burnt. Yeah, this is definitely not burnt. No hops. No. The difference between this and like an American Imperial Stout is like you'd probably get like a ton of piney hops or citrusy hops in American Imperial Stout. No sourness. Yeah, it's not sour. Smooth, not sharp impression. Well, I don't really. Smooth isn't really a word I use on aroma, but how am I going to score this? I mean, this hits all the notes really. I would say this is at least a 10. I could even go as high as 11, maybe even 12. I'm gonna start with 10, and like I said, if we come back, I might bump that. So I mean, on the camera here, it probably looks black. It is not. It's coming out of the bottle. It's like a really dark brown. You might be able to see a little ruby or brown highlights on the glass there. No, but I mean, it pours like a real big, light brown to straight up brown foam. I mean, obviously it has faded a little or quite a bit. Yeah, but it's a good looking beer, and it appears to be pretty well filtered as far as I could tell, especially coming out of the bottle. So let's check the specs. Dark reddish copper to opaque dark brown color, but not black, yeah. Thick, persistent, tan colored head, clear, although dark versions can be opaque, yeah. That's exactly what this is. I wouldn't disagree with anything that they said there. Give it the full 3 out of 3 on appearance. Alright, so flavor, let's find out. Cheers. Or as they say in Poland, I can't find it. Yeah, there's a certain 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗁 character to the Baltic Porter. I mean, it's very, very similar to the American Imperial Stout, but it has like this. I think because it's lagered instead of an ale, um, like what you're tasting is more just like the the malt there, so it's not so much fruity esters. I mean, there is a fruity flavor that you get from the malt, obviously. So I mean, I get oddly enough, the first thing I noticed on this one was like a chocolatey flavor. It's kind of like halfway between milk chocolate and dark chocolate. It doesn't have like that super bitterness of a dark chocolate, but at the same time, also getting like black licorice, black currants, and even like a little bit of roast like way in the background. Yeah, I'd probably put a little bit of a cherry in there as well. Um, Usually you tend to get like the dark fruits on these types of beers, but raisin, fig, plum. I'm not really getting that. To me, it's more cherry. Cherry. I mean, like maybe prune or raisin. Yeah, prune. Dr Pepper is actually that flavor is prune. So yeah, I mean, just have like a tiny little bit of a Dr Pepper flavor. Yeah, but first thing I notice is that there's that sweetness. So again, it's like chocolate, black licorice, almost like a cherry puree. There is like a consistent bitterness in there too, as well. I think I'm getting like a roasty malt to offset the sweetness of the all that maltiness in there. I mean, it is 9% ABV, so you can have a lot of malt to get out that much alcohol, but you need some hops to balance it out. I would call it. I mean, it's kind of a nondescript hop. It doesn't really, as far as the flavor, it's. I guess you could call it spicy or earthy. Definitely not American. It is not piney, not citrusy, anything like that. And the actual roasted malt itself is providing some bitterness to counter it. But I would not describe this as coffee. I mean, it's the difference between, the coffee-like flavor that you would get like in a Guinness and like the actual roasted malt you tend to get like in Baltic Porters and American Imperial Stouts and even just regular old stouts. At first, it finishes kind of sweet actually, but then like it fades quickly and then it goes like a drying sensation. 9% ABV probably has something to do with that. So let's check the specs on flavor. As with aroma, it has a rich maltiness with a complex blend of deep malt, dried fruit esters, and alcohol. The malt can have a caramel, toffee, nutty, molasses, or licorice complexity. Yeah, I would say probably toffee and licorice, maybe a touch of molasses. I wouldn't really describe it as nutty or caramel. It seems to be something you get more on English type beers. Prominent yet smooth 𝗕𝒏𝒿𝒄-like roasted flavor that stops short of burnt. Yeah, absolutely. Light hints of black currants and dark dried fruits. Yeah, I'd probably say more black currants. Again, just maybe like a little bit of raisin, but it does say light hints, so yeah, that's fine. Smooth palate and full finish. Yeah, definitely a long aftertaste on here. Starts malty, sweet, but darker malt flavors quickly dominate and persist through the dryish finish, leaving a hint of roast coffee or licorice and dried fruit in the aftertaste. Medium low to medium bitterness. Yeah, definitely enough bitterness there for balance. Just to provide balance and prevent it from seam cloying. Yep. Hop flavor from slightly spicy hops ranges from none to medium low. Clean fermentation profile. Well, which is it? It says clean fermentation profile, and then it also mentioned esters. So somebody needs to edit this. But yeah, I mean, that is right there for the style. I mean, it's like pretty much everything they just wrote right there. I'm like, yeah, I got like all of that. Yeah, I'm going to go really high on this one. I'm going to go 18, maybe 19. I could... Honestly, so far, everything I could give it a perfect score if I had to. Mouthfeel. Yeah, so it's definitely a pretty full, chewy body. Not quite as hefty and not quite as sticky as like some like pastry stouts or like Goose Island, Bourbon County or something like that. But yeah, for just a straight up non-barrel aged imperial beer, I mean 9% ABV. Yeah, full body for sure. Really soft, smooth, pretty creamy texture. Carbonation is, I probably put about moderate, maybe moderate low, slightly, maybe a little less than, right there in the middle. Yeah, really smooth. That alcohol is really gentle, actually. Just like just a faint bit of warmth, and this beer is actually pretty warm. All right, so let's see what the specs say. Generally quite full-bodied and smooth with a well-aged alcohol warmth that can be deceptive. Yep. Medium to medium high carbonation, making it seem even more mouth-filling. Not heavy on the tongue due to carbonation level. This doesn't strike me as being like that effervescent, but yeah, okay. All right, so I actually have something to kind of demerit here. So mouthfeel's on a score of 1 to 5, so I'm going to give that a 4. I mean, otherwise it's right there. Overall impression, really impressed. 9. I could even give that a 10 maybe. Let's see what our total score is. 44. Yeah, I think this is actually better than that. Like I said with the aroma, I'm going to bump that to 11. I'm going to bump the flavor to 19, and I'll bump the overall to a 10. So that gives us a total score of 47. Yeah, almost a perfect beer. I could go the full 50 out of 50 on this. I would just have, it'd be nice to have another judge here to kind of, bounce my ideas off of. I mean, all beer is best judged with at least 2 people, maybe even 3 or 4. Because like everybody has different palates, different senses of taste, different sense of smell, and everybody gets a little bit different things, and then you kind of get all your ideas together and you kind of compromise. Or somebody can, it's like a debate thing too. Like I can like convince you like that you're gonna get flavors that you're not getting, or that something like it is appropriate for the style or isn't. So yeah, Komes Baltic Porter, highly recommend this one. It's actually fairly cheap too. I think it's like $3.49 for a full 500 ml bottle, and it's 9%. Zywiec Porter was even cheaper. I think it's like $2.49, but like I said, I haven't seen it in about a year, so I guess they stopped distributing to Florida. And yeah, so I guess that wraps it up for this class. If you have any suggestions, comments, or recommendations for the next class, let me know in the comments. If you watch all the way in, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys for regular old beer reviews. Cheers.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's beer reviews.
Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.